Hello, Laura. Good morning. I'm good. How are you? Hello, Bacano. Yeah, it's a lot of Virgo idols, mostly, not anything else. Some actors, yeah, mostly actors also. Not so many idols. Maybe four idols, and then there's actors as well. I want to put it in the. I want to type it in the chat so you can see the names. Thank you. I try to include the interesting ones in the sense that I think that I read for certain people not so long ago. So I don't want to keep choosing the same people, that I love to change. And also we're just starting on Virgo season. So, if there's other Virgo people, artists, it's just beginning. I'm not done. This is not that it's going to be today and I will not read for them anymore. No, because Virgo season is just starting. So yes, this is just the beginning, part one. Thank you, Bacano. You too. Take care. But yeah, and I was planning next. First of all, can you hear me well, guys? Because I noticed that the mic is touching a bit of the fabric. So let me know if it doesn't, you know, if it's not an obstacle for the mic. I will raise it up then. Okay, Fluffy. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm every time this is something that I have that every probably people that know me, like they have been part of the community for a very long time, they know that as soon as Virgo season starts or when it is very close, I start to be very like sensitive to certain things, like order something that I don't like and I feel uncomfortable. So you know, if you notice that, that I'm a bit like there's certain things that I don't like, is because probably I'm uncomfortable about something. But it's not to you guys. It's more like, you know, I'm adjusting. I'm not 100% comfortable. You know, I'm not. This is not perfect. This is not what I want. You know, I want better, but it is what it is. Actually, a few weeks ago, I you know that usually I have, you know, this tablecloth for the cards with the name of the channel on it that is in green. That is this green color that I love so much. This one, like this color. Uh, and I did, you know, reach out to the people that made it for me, and I was like, you know, I want a new one. I want like a new color, because here, you know, over here we are very soon about to start spring. So, you know, I want like not so like a green. It reminds me of, you know, winter, you know. So I wanted like a very like maybe yellowish kind of, you know, fabric, also for this to display better with the cards, you know. So I wanted a different color, and I chosen this one that is not yellow, but it's like it's of the family of yellow. It's a bit like champagne kind of color. Let's see how she does it. She's really talented in creating this tarot table, this close to read, you know, the tarot on. But I have this one that also, you know, this has like silver things, but this is very slippery, like it and it's, I'm like, I don't like it. I'm feeling a bit like it's moving, and I don't like it. It's funny you bring this up, because I was wondering why I started to become more irritated easily these days. It must be the Virgo season hitting home. As someone who is a Virgo sun, yeah, a fresh color, exactly, Fafi. I hope the new color turns out well, and I'm looking forward. Yes, I will show it to you guys. Yeah, it's just that it takes for her a while to finish it, because, you know, the part where she sometimes she puts the name of the channel, in this case, or my name, is custom made by, you know, another worker, another person in a different place. So it's like she has to arrange with those people, and then, you know, on the other side, the velvet side, there's more embroidery, so it has its details. It's really well done, but you have to be patient with the delivery. You know, it's not like, you know, I order it online and it just comes. No, it takes a few weeks. Yes. And yesterday I wanted to show you a picture of what I was doing. We were like, we have to finish, you know, that I mentioned the other day that we have a fence over here, you know, that I said that we were, you know, planning to build the wall that we have the bricks and everything, but we were like sort of arranging the columns for the corners, so it sustains, you know, the wall. And those you have to, you know, mix, you know, the cement and with rocks and sands, you know, it's a whole mix, and then you have to fill up the columns. It's a lot of work. And I was helping my dad to do that, and I was like all covered in cement, in concrete. So it even got in my hair. It was messy. It was so messy. But I was like, you know, it's all about achieving a certain perfection. I don't want to call it like, oh, I want this to be perfect, but is to sort of like tune certain things that, you know, I think that is very fitting for this season for us to start, you know, reflecting on like, okay, do we make a list of the things that we think that we should improve, but not from a place of like, I have to hurry up and it has to be now. No, it's more to be like, okay, you know, there's certain things that, you know, I accomplished, or there's certain things that I have done better, but then still I do have some things pending. So I think that the Virgo season, in my case, is, for example, my health. So I have to go, I have to, you know, get the appointments. I have to go get the analysis, you know, the whole checkup. So it's always Virgo season. Because usually, you know, I don't know about others, but about me, I tend to, you know, postpone it or just leave it until the end. And I think that Virgo season is like, no, it's like with magnifying glass. It's like, no, no, like you cannot, you know, just postpone it, or you cannot just leave it to the side. This is also a part of being better. You know, it's like, it has to be like holistic. It has to embrace different aspects of your life, not just the one that you're focused on. You have to master them all, integrate them all. They are all part of you, and they are important, of course. Hey, Chachalino. Actually, I haven't been feeling too good this past 2 days health-wise. A bit under the weather. Maybe it's a Virgo shift. Yes. Yeah, usually if Fluffy doesn't comment on health, so if she feels under the weather, it must be serious, or it must be something that is bothering her. Yeah. Hey Natasha. Yeah, I also, when it comes to, yeah, you know, like health things, you know, I get a bit like low in energy. It's not that I'm like, you know, expressing it 100%, but it's you notice that there's something that is not okay in the way I present myself, or in the way I talk about myself, or something like this. It feels like I'm low in energy, you know, like I'm not 100% okay. We all should start dying. I always tell myself, I'm going to eat healthier this week. I'm going to start. And I think that probably I start a good 1-2 days, and then I break it. Then I mean, I don't consider that like, oh, you're eating very badly, but maybe, you know, is the lack of consistency is what it's like, you know, everything that you've done, it's, you know, it's not but yeah, now that spring is coming over here, I should go out to take a walk. I should go back to my walking mornings because, during winter, I was like, no, I don't want to go because it's very cold. It's all cloudy. It's raining. I don't want to go outside. But now that I think that I will be entering the school a bit later on the day, I think I have until 10 a.m. So I could go for a walk before entering to work at the school. I could go around 8. Um, I thought I was the only one who fits the Scorpio season. November is a mess every year. I'm always sick. Yeah, November also is very, for me, it rocks my world. I don't know why, but I feel like, yes, the typical phrase, I start tomorrow. Yes. Definitely should be me included. It really sucks in November. I don't know what is it, but it sucks in November. Yes, maybe because we are so close to ending the year. So November is like that when you really start to freak out. It's like, oh, I'm running out of time. Saturn return taught me the hard way that I need to take care of my body, and so yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I feel so unmotivated to go to the doctor because I know that all my, everything about my, since I have the immune system so low, I never get good news when I go to the doctor. I never get like, oh, here's a pill. You're going to feel better with this. No, it's always complex. It's always that something is wrong, something is lacking, something is not well, something. So, for me, I feel so like already so negative about going to the doctor and having this expensive analysis because I know they're not going to come out right. So yeah, it's the story of my life. It's like this. That's why sometimes, I wish I could be normal and just like people that go to have their routines or their checkups and they get everything right. I wish I could experience that, like once. Um, but no. Mm. I have my final examinations in November. All this talk is making me scared. No, you shouldn't be scared. You shouldn't be scared. It's just that, maybe Scorpio season, what it does is that it removes like the mask or the lies that you tell yourself about certain processes. It's like you're coming to the realization of like, what have you been building? What have you been working on? Have you been working on this? Have you paid attention? Have you put the effort? If you had done it, not perfectly, but if you know that, yeah, I it wasn't perfect, but I showed up. I don't know. And then November or Scorpio season is going to show you like, okay, yeah, maybe it wasn't perfect, but yeah, you did sustain this. So this is why, sometimes, um, Scorpio removes the BS. So it's like if you haven't done the work, it's like it's going to show. It could just shove it to your face. It's always going to be like this because they don't sugarcoat the things. It's like this. I used to have a very rigid and strict Scorpio teacher. I was scared of her, and she really liked my, like, I remember we had this, I believe it was like a class in psychology. It was for family and couples counseling, and she was the one that would guide that class. And every time we would examine a text, I would give my answers, and she would ask me, okay, how do you feel about this? And I was like, oh yeah, this is how I feel. This is how I perceive that we can help the client feel better in business. And she would always agree with me. She would be like, yeah, I like your insight. That's very deep. I like it. Keep going. She was very rigid. She was very like, if she didn't like it, she would say it. But then, around November, where we were about to finish, it was the last year. And I have a lot of finals. They were all in person. It wasn't like there was no Zoom, no written test. No, it was all, one-on-one in presence. And I believe I had to choose a movie about the family dynamic, and I had to talk about it, including the theory and everything. And because it was one of the last subjects that I had to approve, and I would get my degree, we were all super nervous, and also a bit burnout, because we had studied a lot. We had to do a lot of presentations. It was the end of the year. We were about to graduate. So it was like a whole emotional thing that even if you studied before, and I don't know why, because it was the last one. I did prepare my part, but I did it very much on the surface level. And me and my other part, my other, the other student as well, we were all like, yeah, this is not us giving 100%, but it's because we're about to finish, and we just want, just put any kind of, rate us how you want. We just want to advance. We just want to go home. We are tired. We are burnt out. So she ended up in my case, in the case of my the person that I was doing this with, she gave us it wasn't a bad note, it wasn't like a bad grade, but it was good, but it was so below. And when she gave us, them, because we had these small papers where she would put the number on this, and she would give it to us, and she and she looked at me, and before giving me the paper, she looked at me and she was like, I expected better of you. With all the seriousness. I was like, oh. Oh, and I was like, oh, it's because I was nervous and everything. And, she looked at me like, it doesn't matter. She was like, this is not what you had given all the year. This is not, you don't do this. So I expected better of you. And she was right. She was looking through my soul, and she was giving me this feedback that it was this is not about her being picky and being I expected better. And it's not about us reciting words and knowing things from memory. It's more about, that sentiment, that introspection, that insight that is very personal about the theory, because the theory we can all learn it, but it's about how you process that information and what you feel about this and how you're going to bring it as a professional in the near future. If you cannot do that, and if you just want to do it surface level, it's like, what are you doing here? This is not your calling. You shouldn't be a professional just because you had a bad day. So then it's about compromise. It's about being committed to something. If you're going to do it right, but don't do it like this. um so I always remember her words, but not because it's like, oh, it's coming from an authority figure. No, it was because she really saw through me. She was like, this is not something that you would do. So I expected better. Here you pass, but I expected better. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yes. Oh no, not the disappointment voice out loud. uh, it's giving my French teacher with my speaking. My speaking exam is next Tuesday, and I don't think I studied this much for French in my life. Teachers are harsh with the students. Yes. Yes. That's the thing. It's not about being perfect. It's about being authentic. It's about like, you can do better. We know that you can do better. What is this? You know, something like this. Mm. All the Virgo community joined today. But yeah, it always stuck in my mind because yeah, I couldn't even if I tried to put like, oh yeah, it's because I'm tired, it's because I haven't slept for 2 weeks. But she was right about that. Talking about French and talking about, I was talking to my friend the other day because I am thinking about, I want to learn a new language. I would love to learn, Korean or Chinese or maybe Japanese even. But I'm also thinking from the perspective of, a business perspective, or maybe, if it's about, sales, because I'm also like, I have experience in sales and everything. So I was thinking from a business perspective, what is trending when it comes to language? I have one language that I would love to go back to because I have it pendant that I want to master it at least, in a basic level. That is German, because I had German at my school. I went to a German school, so I feel a bit like I need to close that cycle. Because I'm like, how did I come out of that school loving English? And why do I have like this very awkward relationship with German, just because the teacher wasn't a good teacher? Poor woman. uh, she was probably kidnapped from a cult and left there to teach us all. She barely spoke any Spanish, so I don't know where they got that woman from. But she only spoke German. I don't think she was a teacher, but she was very, very scary for all of us. None of the people that went to school with me, none of them kept continuing learning German. No one remembers a thing. But for me, I'm like, I want to go back, and I want to, because for me um it's not difficult. Like, I mean, I remember a few things, but not much. So I want to go back to learning German. Then I was thinking about French also. I was thinking about French. Um, I don't know. I don't know if you what you guys think. what would be, the best pick, because I love Asian culture, and I would love to know what they're saying and everything, but at the same time I'm like, it's not, especially when I pronounce certain names, of actors and actresses, and just, some idols. I think that my pronunciation is so bad, and I feel so like I need to fix this, because, a lot of people watches my videos, so I feel a bit like embarrassed that I don't know how to pronounce certain things. And also it's a learning experience, it's about me getting better. But I'm like thinking from a very like also realistic point of view. It's like, who am I going to speak to Chinese with? Like, Chinese will be the most useful. Yeah, my friend said that the other day. She's in administration. She's like also working for the government, like and she knows a lot about business and things. And she's like, Chinese is the future. Mm-hmm. French is an annoying language, even for French people. Business wise, Chinese is the most useful in general, but with tarot, maybe it's different. It's hard to teach Chinese accents through the screen via chat. Yeah, I know, yes. Yeah, remember when I had this I had these French brands. I was having a hard time reading them. Then I have I believe I had La Roche Posay. Then I had, well, Vichy is easy, Vichy. Then I had Aven. No, I don't know if it's pronounced like that. Aven. French grammar is so hard. Oh my god, I can use it. Like, I don't like if the Chinese tarot community is that important at the moment, but in the future, who knows? Yeah, English is very simple. Yeah. Yes, Aven. Vichy. I love Aven. Aven is one of my favorite brands because it is for, very sensitive skin, and I had tried it and it's really good for my skin. It soothes my skin that is so complicated, but it's so expensive. Over here it's so expensive. Maybe if I go to buy it, overseas, I'm going to be fine. But here in Argentina, the how much the prices are so, is too expensive for a cream. It's like, I know it's a good brand. I know it. I know it because I had, I had, training with them, so I know that they are good products. Definitely, I do. Mm. Yes, I had an Aven cream as a child, and I loved it too. Plus, Hyunja is the ambassador. Oh, I was so angry at that because you know that um I used to work with them for a very long time, and then when I stopped, working for this skincare, side, um, then I learned that he became the ambassador, and I was like, no, why now? Like, he should have waited until I could get hands on some merch of his with his face. Ah, Yeah, we do love French. Yes, we when you hear it, you listen to it, and you're like, wow, that's so cool. Um, I have my army friend that she's French, and but she lives in California. She lived in California for a lot of years. But every time I listen to her audios, to her, like, she has that accent, and I just love it. I hope she never loses it. It sounds so fancy. With German, I think that for me as a child, I remember I was very on alert, and maybe because I'm like a visual learner, so every time I noticed that some phrases are very long in German, so they have a lot of letters in the middle, and since I'm a bit obsessive about spelling it correctly, I would be fixated on certain letters. I would look at them and I would try to, remember, the S, the C, the H. Um, then we had uh, that that letter that it was like a B. B. We would call it like the B letter with the two bellies. We would be like the B letter with the two bellies, that it had like two. I don't know what's that name, what is that called? Yeah, that one. That one. We would call it like the V with the two bellies. For example, Deutschland. Deutschland for me because it was like the name of the subject. So it was like and I would try to remember the sequence, because in with English it happens the same with me. I know that nowadays we have this, the autocorrector in the cell phones, but I was very, fixated on spelling correctly. So every time I would learn a new English word, I would look it up on the dictionary and I would try to write it down. So I would get used to the feeling of writing it down, and I would remember the correct, especially when there's like a T, an H, you know, for me, I need to spell it correctly. Otherwise, I go crazy. My friend has a hard time trying to teach me German. She said she just doesn't have the patience to teach, but I learned some things. Yeah, I'm sure that it's not um it's not, I don't know. How do you say, Tatalino, how do you say I live in? Because I don't know correctly, but I said, like, I remember there was a phrase that it was like ich wohne, could it be? And then I would say the name of my town. Was it like that? Ich wohne in. Ich komme aus. Yeah, for me, it's not that difficult. Like, I remember the und Und is like and in English. Das, der. The more I remember is Katze. Katze in house. The ones I remember the most. It's so elementary school. Yeah, because I had it on elementaries only. I had it in my. So it was all about cats and dogs and, you know. Yeah, it was in the city. Yeah, ich wohne. Yeah. Yeah, not the country. It was me presenting, introducing myself like that, and we would mention the city. Yes. Yeah, German is pretty close to English. I don't know much German, but some words are similar. And I remember I used to get it right with pronunciation because we did, you know, some pronunciation exercises. Um, and it was so funny, but I don't remember now. You could say, ich habe eine Katze, her hate. Sie hate Kali. Hate it. How do you pronounce the double B? The double B. The double B. I would call it I know it had a name. My German teacher would kill me if she would know that I call it the double B. That had a name. The double B. Is Katze cat? Yes. Sie hate Kali. Ich habe eine Katze. S is an S. Haste. But also there's a difference because I remember there was some classes where we had to say the vowels and there's something like you had to have like a pencil on your it, and you had to touch with the tongue. There was an exercise about this. More like I heist. And I had a good year for German because my cousins' grandparents they come from German colonies. So I would hear them. They remember they used to teach me a German song when we were little. They knew the song and they would sing it, and we would sing it with them. But also in my family, my dad's from my dad's side, there's also a German grandmother of his. This is why his name is Adolf. I know it's awful, but that's why his name is Adolf. Here in Spanish, it's called Adolfo, but this is why his name is, because he's like the firstborn of his family. He's like the first male born, but he was the first one. The S is softer, but the S is more. Yeah. But I think that, and I also, for me to go back to study German, as an adult, I have, the academy that used to teach me English after school is not very far away from my house, so I can go and ask them, and I can ask them about French as well if they have it. I know that German, they had it because since, the school that I went to was German, they will have a lot of people from my school. because, you know, German was very difficult. Like you had to have extra classes if you were bad at it. But for me, like I got along very well. But it's just that, you know, I want to, um, I want to close that part, you know, because I felt like there was a part of me that was like, you know, if you had like, if you remember English so well, why don't you remember German so well if you were good at it? Like I should have put like, because you know, now that we are talking about Korean dramas and, you know, Japanese dramas and Chinese, I think that, you know, we could learn a lot of things. Like there's no room for so so I always have that a pendant, you know. It's not so much um you know, oh, I have to have it because it's my job. No, but I'm like, you know, if you had like, I just cannot believe that I had it for free in the same school. I had two languages, and I just, you know, I couldn't get out like something out of that instead of just simple tiny, you know, words out of it. um I also remember we had, is there something, Chachalino, is there something particular about writing in German, you know, like writing it down? Because I remember we had a specific somehow like notebook that we bought to spell the words in there, to write down the words. So I wonder if, I think that it was like that kind of book that had certain spaces. I don't, but we had a different book to write down the. It wasn't like a typical, you know, notebook that you would write down the phrases. No, it had to be in a specific. I don't know. It had like squares or little points. I don't know. But it was a specific notebook. I realized during my Japanese classes in university that knowing German and English helped me with the pronunciation. Also, Japanese doesn't sound a bit like German. Like the intonation doesn't it sound like the strong, because that's, you know, one of the things that I remember. The intonation, it like you know, it had to be strong. For me, watching animes as a kid taught me Japanese. Now I can understand some sentences. Yes, for some reason, Korean is much more difficult to memorize by ear. Yeah. Kids usually learn with books shaped like a house, like the letter starts in the attic and goes to the basement. Yes, I remember that one. Oh, yes, that there was a shape. I remember. Yes, I don't know why I wanted to say like it reminded me of mathematics, but now that you said the shape of the house, yes. Thank you, Chacharlino. Thank you. Because I was like, why did we have to, like every year we had to buy that specific notebook for German. Oh, really, Dracula? Japanese I find pretty simple to speak. Each syllable is very clear. I don't know how to explain. Yeah, it's very clear. It's sharp. It sounds sharp. Yes. There's like 24 consonants, and if you know those, you can basically read anything. You might not always understand though.
I think that languages are so like, oh my God. Like I just love it. I just love it. But I always knew it. I always knew it. I don't know how or why, but I've always been wise in that aspect. I remember I used to, the first years in elementary school, the first 2 years, I went to a school that it was a public school. That my mom took me there because she had a limp. She had to use like I don't want to say like a seat. Is it like a crutch, something like this, that she had to hold on to it to level her leg and walk with assistance. So she would take me to school. We would go, we would go walking. It was like it's flat 5 blocks away from my house. So she inscribed me in this elementary school because it was near my house. But honestly, like it was very low quality when it comes to crutch. Thank you. Like it was very low quality when it comes to education because since it was public, here public schools are not that good. They run by the politicians, so it depends a lot on what they have, and these are usually for children that maybe they come from big families and they have a lot of siblings, and not all of them have the tools, or some of them don't even have like clothing or proper pair of shoes to go to school with. So somehow the government would give you things for free. They would give you like a school kit with free with pencils and things for free. We would wear like like a white, um I don't know, it was like it's a long shirt that we would wear, like it was like a uniform. And I remember that um I was very young when I went in there, but I think it was the first 2 years, and I noticed I was like, my 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 the kids that go to school with me, they eat in there, and they gave us food. They gave us like sandwiches. I remember, and I will give it away. I will give it to my other to the other kids because I would eat at home. So I would receive these tiny sandwiches, and I would be like, no, thank you. I'm going to eat at home, or I already ate. And I would give it to the others. I would take it, but I would give it to the others, to the people that maybe they haven't had breakfast at home, people that really like children that they really needed it. So, me being very young, I started to notice, like they will get these shoes or these things for free, and they will give me two, and I will be like, I'm not going to wear this because I will give it to my cousin also when in there, so I will give them to them because I will have shoes. Like I had shoes of my own. I didn't want like that. um but it was for very poor people, so I remember I asked, then we started to have like English and computer lessons. And it was so crazy because we were like 22 children with one computer. And we were supposed to practice, like touch touch a letter, by turn to take turns to touch a single key on the keyboard. That was the practice. And I think that I was like 8 years old. I believe I was like 8 or 7. And I talked to my mom and I was like, I don't want to go to the school. I want to go to another school where I can learn. I want to learn English and I want to learn computer, but I don't want to learn like they teach it. I don't like it. And I want to learn a language. because I knew my other cousin, he would go to a private school and he would have English lessons. So I would be like, I wanted to. So that's why my mom and my dad had to look for a better school, because I said that I wanted to, but it was my idea. Me at 7 years old telling them, like, please get me a better education. Thank God they listened. But it always been me. It always been me, the one that guided them, because they had no clue if they didn't have a proper education when they were children themselves. Education wasn't for everyone. It was very selective. So, me speaking up at a very young age and being like, get me a better education, take me to a better school. Um, thank God they listened. Thank God they listened. Um, and thank God I had a tutor teacher that he would help me with my homeworks, and he would always encourage my mom. Like, she's very intelligent. Please, like, take her. Like, please continue coming, because since my mom didn't know much about Spanish and literature, she would get me this tutor, this teacher, this older man that he was a retired teacher, that he would help us, all the children of the block, with our homework. And you had to pay him, of course. He was expensive. But since she couldn't help me with my homework, she would take me to this person. And he was always so intelligent. He was a former history and literature retired teacher. So he was like, she has conditions, just keep. She's very intelligent. She's very intelligent when it comes to writing, talking, speaking. So please, keep taking. For math, for mathematics, I was awful, but for literature, I was really good. Mm. Yeah, I knew what I wanted. I knew it, and I don't know. Yeah, you have been as a Mars in the third house, plus, yeah, just span beyond culture. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's so interesting to see the placements overlaps we have. Yeah, we have a lot of in common. Yes. Yes. Fate has united us. Yes. My parents were adamant in sending me to a private independent school because of this reason. Mm, yes. Yeah, my mathematics is so bad. It's like it's just that, I have to think fast, and I cannot. I need to analyze it slowly. Um, and also, there's something about mathematics that is like, this is the correct answer. And this is it. If you don't get this one, you're wrong. So there's something just very simplistic about it, and also very it has to be this number. It cannot be another number. So I'm like, um, I don't know if you have similar system at school, but in high school we could do different things. Some more math, science, other more literature. Of course, I took literature. Yes, we did. Yes, we did, Fluffy. In high school, we had two systems. That one was like business administration, and the other one was humanitarian, like somehow like human resources. Yeah, I think I went to both of them because since I had lupus, and I had to be, in the hospital for months, but then, because of medication and everything, I couldn't go back to school right away. So then for me to resign to the new school, to high school, I had to wait to get a place. So the first school that I got assigned to, because it was the only one that had place for me, that had like one place open, it was for, business administration. So I went in there for a year, and I didn't like it because, yeah, it was very much based on, you know, accountant, and there were a lot of a lot of subjects with numbers, and I wouldn't just. I went to the humanitarian more style, um, but yeah. Mm. Chemistry. I remember chemistry. Oh, I did the easiest math the offer and still struggled. Yeah. I always, this is so interesting because I remember um, I would get so frustrated because I would prepare myself for math, for mathematics, studies. But then when I had to do the test, and I had, my brain would go blank, like my memory, and I would forget what I had to do. But I did practice. So I've always been like, numbers confuse me because it seems like I'm losing my memory of how to do it. And I get like, oh no, 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 no. But for literature is different because I love letters. I'm like, I love it. See, it also, I like chemistry, but our teacher was to say this seriously. I hated it. Yeah, I think that with chemistry, I did love that. How do you call that sort of table of elements? Like, because I would sort of start to understand the system, but then if I miss a class, I would lose it, and I had to miss certain classes because I had to go, to a hospital that it was very far away. It was near the capital to get, certain checkups, to see, how the medication was working. So it would take me all day to be in there. So I would miss certain classes. So yeah, I don't even know what the question is asking me to do. That's why Montessori school might be pretty good. Yeah, chemistry was fun until it got serious. Yeah, there was a moment where you're like, oh, I need my time to process the order. If you give me time to process it, and in my mind, I have in my mind's eye, I have to save it. Just it's like symbolism. It's like it's like the cards, the tarot cards. It's all about symbols. If you follow the symbols, they will tell you, but you have to have the moment to be present and observe, and there's something about mathematics in my case that I feel like I'm being rushed to get I have to think fast, and I'm not like that. I cannot because I don't know, I get fixated on a certain number or something, and I'm like, but it's like I cannot think fast. I had a girl in my class who got 100 in all chemistry, math, exams, and I admire her so much. I liked chemistry in high school, but I knew better than to try it in college. I always heard it was used to break pre-med students. Oh, wow. I have this issue as well. So when my math teacher asked me to answer a question, I would just freeze. Yes. That's when I knew I always felt that it was a missing. I always felt like I wasn't intelligent. Like it was me just not understanding because it was explained to me. Like I would write everything down. I would try to pay attention. I think that initially I would get it, but then as it got complex, that's when my brain started to dissociate. I would start to just being in there, and yeah, yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to start reading because sorry for the ranting. Sorry for the ranting because, you know, it's 1 hour and 12 minutes. Yes, I also got, you know, a bit, yeah, a bit afraid of being called out. Yes, yes. 100% stress. Yes, like if you put me on evidence like this. I actually, you know, I never had like like a scene panic. You know when there's people that when you put them in the front to, you know, give classes or to defend, you know, a subject, I wouldn't get. I wouldn't get. I would get. Yeah, I would get a bit red on my face because I'm a bit, you know, awkward. But I didn't fear being in front of the class. But I think that when you start questioning me, that's when I get very. I don't like it. I think that it depends on how you ask me. On how you ask me. If you ask me with a sort of like, if you're trying to provoke me or to, I'm like, I retreat inside and I get. Mm, I love presenting too. Yes, yes, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I must say that I'm a bit awkward initially, but I love it. Like I didn't think like, you know, I have like the thing that I would be like, you know, that this is why sometimes I will do my homework with a Taurus person because they are very, you know, they are very much on the aesthetics of when they had to create, like back then, like it was like a PowerPoint presentation or it was like something. Sometimes we used to have our own, you know, posters. You had to write down on those. And I'm not that on the aesthetics. I don't, you know, I don't pay attention to, you know, subtle details of what is beautiful or what looks beautiful. um and she was so precise and she was so, you know, aesthetic about, you know, the whole presentation. I was like, okay, you do the decoration and I will do the speaking, you know, and we would make it work like that because I suck at, you know, like, oh, the color, oh, the type of font, like, oh no, please. I always structure like a quiz fun session when I'm teaching something valuable to others. Yes, that's so interesting. I love it. I swear my body was there, but my mind and soul was not. Yeah, it's just that that's what you need to do. You need to breathe. You know, before you do an important presentation, you have to breathe. You know, you have to stay with you, stay in the body, stay in the now. Don't think this is, you dissociate because either you are thinking about the past and you want to go back, or you are thinking about the future and you're like, I cannot wait to be out of here. This is uncomfortable. This moment I don't like. So you have to be present in the now, being like, this is important. This is my moment. So I'm present. I'm present. I'm not perfect, but I'm here. I'm here. Don't try to, you know, go back nor, you know, advance too fast into the future. You're here now, and this moment matters. So, you know, for me, I remember people would freak out when it comes to their turns. Like, when is my turn to do the presentation? And everyone would freak out, you know, if they had to go first. And for me, I would always tell my group, I want to go first. I don't know, or first or second, but I don't want to go last, because if you go last, I mean, for me, it was like, I want to get this over with. I want to do it, and then I want to sit down and enjoy the other people's presentation, because for me, it was so fun to watch them as well. So I prefer to just do it and then being able to sit down and relax, because I've done it already. And also, I noticed that some teachers, the more, they come to the end, they are not paying that much attention, and also they're a bit uninterested in what you have to say, because probably the others already did it. So they are not that, even if you think like, oh, they will not pay attention because I'm sure they're tired. No, they are paying attention. Yeah, I'd rather just do it. Yes. You want to go less or close to less. You get to learn from the people who came before you. Yeah. Yes, going last or going first. It can also be good. Yeah, I think that, yeah, those two instances maybe. I always imagine myself as an expert and the others as people who want to learn. If you imagine it right away, it takes the fear of the situation. Exactly, Chachalino. You have to embrace these presentations. You have to get in the archetype or the energy of the teacher. You have to get in the archetype, the energy of the teacher. You are the teacher now. You are imparting, you are sharing what you know, and the other ones are paying attention. So yes, it's like a very strong issue. It's like you have to command the stage. I think that everyone that is in a slightly place of exposure, you have to show that, you have to embody that confidence. You have to know where you're standing, even if you don't, but you have to fake it or take acting classes. I don't know, but do it. It's, we were mentioning something about idols. Idols also are people that they probably have their insecurities, a bad day, an injury, something that is bothering them. But while they are on the stage, they have to perform at their best. They cannot show weaknesses. They cannot show, that there's other things going on, because you want to see the performance. You don't want to see their personal issues or their insecurities or that they're shaking, and if you get to see it, it must be because something is really wrong. Something, for them to not be able to hide it, something must be really, really wrong. I think that these things usually happen when they find themselves in these technical issues, especially with their mics, or when there's something going on with the scenario, with the lights or with the platforms that are so dangerous. That's when you start seeing, like, the artist breaking character because they feel so unstable on what they're sending. Yes, yes. I remember I cried for my English speaking exam because I was so scared. But guys, this is the thing. This is the thing that I think that it's so important, that especially for you guys, the ones that have like Moon in Capricorn energy, or Saturn in the first house, or you are a Capricorn rising. Since I have a lot on the first house, I'm not an expert on Capricorn. I cannot say like I'm the faithful image of Capricorn. I think that for me, it's like, I want to be a better version of Capricorn, not a better, but a different one, not so rigid. But, if you guys are like Moon in Capricorn, maybe what I'm saying can help you activate that Moon in Capricorn. That because the moon is located in this place that is so intimate. When you have a moon sign, is something that is part of your essence, that definitely has a lot of influence in your life and how you feel in your relationships, in your connections. But if you have someone like me, for example, that in your life, that I'm a full Capricorn, or at least I have this strong energy of like, this is what I am, this is what I have, this is what I work with. I'm not perfect, but this is what I work with. So if you guys can take that message and be like, okay, like I will see if I can use my Capricorn placements the way you use them when I need them, because from that moon in Capricorn, you have a lot of potential of being super successful, super successful. You may not be the most successful in relationships, because Capricorn moons can be a bit harsh, and they're, tough people to get into their feelings, but when it comes to presentation and when it comes to image and how you value yourself and how you value your work, it's very important to be like, okay, I have this Capricorn energy in me, so I have to show it. I'm going to get it out from when it is, and I'm going to show it. Every time I'm in a very important and exposed place that is affecting my image in the public, or my reputation, or my business, I'm going to bring it out of there and just take it and put it to the front of the person. Take it and use it. Use it. Don't doubt. Just use it. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I have Jupiter square accent, but my Leo moon can win almost everything if I'm feeling. Yes, the Leo moon. Oh, and also, Chachalino, this is why I'm like, when you say Leo moon, I'm thinking about, when you mentioned the quiz on the presentations, making some quiz, making some, interactive. It's like you can be so creative and so fun at delivering certain knowledge. So, that you have that fire that I don't have, and the creativity to make it fun. I think that, yeah, you have to use it. Mm-mm. Yes. I hide my stress. I just pretend everything fine and fake it till I make it. That's very moon in Libra. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Yeah, my cup moon makes me want to. Yeah, that's why I've noticed that that because I encountered some Capricorn moon in my life, and I noticed the it's not about them being nervous, because actually they are excellent, and they are like amazing, like the women that I met that had Capricorn moon, they had everything under control, everything. When I had to work with them, they were very much like, they would be prepared, they would be excellent, everything, but you know what they lacked? They lacked spontaneity. They lack, I'm usually too spontaneous sometimes, that people are like, you maybe have no structure. Like, I have a structure. It's just that for me, it's important to give it my shape, and I also have midheaven in Libra. So for me, to make it harmonize is also something that it has to do with the way I present myself to the world. I don't want to be rigid like Capricorn, like serious, like, okay, guys, I'm going to teach you a lesson. And I think that there's something about some Capricorn moon women that I work with that you notice that ice cold detachedness in their eyes. Like, they are super concentrated and they are really serious about what they're delivering, but it feels very military like. it lacks connection. It's that kind of energy that you're like, yeah, I'm sure she's an ace. I'm sure she's the best of them all. But she distanced herself from you. It's like, I am better. I am perfect. I know what I'm doing. So you better listen to me. They are really good people to be in power, but they are very inflexible and they are people don't like them. This is the reality. I notice of the people, of the women that I especially Aries, don't like them. They can be super successful, like, businesswoman and bosses, but people don't like them because you feel like, they are like these amazing, like people, leaders, like really leaders, but there's no, like, it feels like if you want to ask them like for feedback, they will not be nice about it. They will be like, oh yeah, you didn't do that well. Like, and there's something about the way they look at you. Like, when they look at you, their eyes are very, very cold. Like, you feel so, like, I even got scared. Like, I'm like, wow, like, you're very cold. Like, even for me, that I'm a double Capricorn, I'm like, wow, you're a bit much. Um, and they usually have a lot of stomach issues. They have a lot of stomach issues with their ovaries. They have, because they control so much that, there's the body is like, let me get out because you're too much. Hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. My friend says I'm stoic in situations people would not be. I remember losing my phone and being like, it's fine. And my friends were like, how are you so chill? And I was thinking, I'm freaking out inside. But you can tell, of course. I think I'm spontaneous as a Cap Moon, but it receives a lot of respect, like a lot of aspects like Uranus, Neptune, and Mars. Ah, okay, that's cool. I wish I could have everything under control, but I don't. I thought it was too obvious, and I don't want to show it. Many of my friends are Libra risings. It's very common here in Europe. I have to agree. Ah, wow, I'm going to Italy. Girl, not to brag, but I feel like people do like me. I'm more like I'm talking about. Mm, yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Fluffy is because you have a lot of aspects that soften that. Yes, definitely. Yeah, yeah. The In my experience, the ones that I met were really awful. But maybe because I met them at work. So it's not the same meeting someone in a very competitive field. And also Aries and Capricorn, the two together are not a good mix. The ones that I met were Aries Sun, Capricorn Moon. So they were like, like gladiators, I would say. They would tackle you down anywhere. And they would feel threatened by me. They would feel threatened by me, like all the time, because I would go with the flow and I would actually get good results, and they would really be maybe, very rigid on themselves. They would, maybe try harder or do a lot of things, and they wouldn't get the same result. So, it's all about probably, their nature. Maybe you being a Virgo also is like you are smarter. It's not the same. I don't want to offend any Aries people, but Virgo is much more skilled. Virgo is a much more like conversational. Like, you can have a conversation with Virgo people. You can exchange, knowledge, strategies. With Aries is like an all or nothing situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very combative. Yes. Everyone is their enemy. And you're like, well, I remember asking a Capricorn for homework help, and I never felt so dumb in my life. I always share my homework with people. I'm like, if you can understand my handwriting, you go and get it. Like, um, yeah. Mm, I do have a rigid side. I don't think I'm cold, but Capricorn it's cold. It's just that, yeah, the Capricorn moons and Scorpio moons, I believe, a lot of astrologers, they say, oh, this is like the worst placement for the moon to be at. Yeah, it is. It's tough because I think that it's not easy. We have a lot of emotions, just like everyone, but we don't share it. We don't show it. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of control issues. Actually, yesterday I was watching a TikTok of an interview that someone did to Orlando Bloom. Um, that I think that he got divorced of, or they are about to divorce of Katy Perry. Um, and he was saying something, this man Orlando Bloom, that he's not my favorite person, honestly, but I know he's a Capricorn sun and a Scorpio moon, so he said something about that, probably what he has to learn the most and that has, cost him the most to learn is to let go. And I resonated so much with that because I think that that's a very, very, when you have the combination of Scorpio and Capricorn, I think that for me at least, you tell me to let go, and I'm like, no. Automatically, I'm like, no, no. Or if I say yes, internally, it took me a lot of years, especially when it comes to relationships. Letting go of, you know, um, just, that, that relationships don't have to be all about control, or they don't have to be that, um, and I think he mentioned something about, that feeling that, when you are with the right person or in the right group, is when you feel not just seen and validated, but also that you feel safe, that you can be yourself, that you can be your goofy self. And for us Capricorn, to be goofy is something that we are like, we don't allow ourselves to be goofy. We never had like a childhood because we had to grow up very fast. I've always loved playing, and I think that I had a good childhood. But I've always felt like, even though I don't have brothers, I always felt like out of all the some group of children in my family, I was like the oldest. So I was supposed to be the one that would behave. Out of all my cousins, the girl cousins, the other girls, I would be the one that would behave. I would be the one that would know how to sit properly when you're wearing when you're wearing a dress, or when you are, at the table, at the dinner table, to be polite, to be educated, to wait, to be silent, to not go and climb trees, to just, even though maybe there was a part of me that, yeah, maybe I wanted to go and get dirty and climb trees, but I was like, no, because, girls don't do that. So sometimes when you don't have that, when you don't have the spontaneity of just being a fool, and 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 people calling it cute, sometimes, and I did discover this in relationships, in personal relationships, when someone really sees you and they are like, oh, you're goofy, or you have a sense of humor, or you make mistakes. Yeah, I do make mistakes. I'm a person. I'm a person, and but I think that that's when you realize, okay, I'm happy here. I don't have to I don't have to be on the lookout for something to go wrong. I can let go. I can let go. I can just be me in trust. That trust is also very important. Yeah. Mm. Letting go of grudge is hard for me. I always remember what you. Yeah, that too. mm. Mm. Yeah, the other one that I have, the other actor that also is a Capricorn with the moon in Scorpio, I believe is the one that played Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. I don't remember his name. Is it Keith? Keith something? Keith? I don't remember his name. Well, he's another one that, yeah, he does look like a Capricorn, yes. He kind of looks like me. Like, when I was a child, I was, the dark hair and the dark eyes and the pale skin is very Capricorn Korean. Kit Harrington, thank you. Mm. I had to take over for my older sister. So I was the leader at home, taking care of my younger siblings and while playing mediator of everyone around me. Yeah, that energy puts us, even if we don't want to, it seems like we feel the pressure that someone is watching what we do. So we have to behave like, there's this is why we have these control issues, because we are like, sustaining something that maybe you are like, yeah, but no one, this is typical. If you ask people in your family, they're like, yeah, but no one forced you to do that. And you're like, yeah, no one said it aloud, but it was very obvious. Or maybe when you see that your parents are maybe a bit childish or they are not up to this, I had to say to my dad and to my mom, take me to a better school because I want to learn more. And it's not because they weren't, um, good parents. It's just that maybe they were a bit ignorant about, okay, what a child like myself needs when it comes to education. It's like, I'm not just one of those children. I'm not just what it's like, oh yeah, let's get her into this school with the others. It's like, you have to study your child. You have to pay attention to their styles and what they need. And if they need help here or if they're okay, and you have to see, you have to get to know, that little creature that you have, but I guess that it's sort of it for them. It was like a whole new experience because they were in their 40s when they had me. They had no experience with other children. um and I don't know, maybe they overestimated, no, they underestimated my intelligence, or they didn't know what to do, because also when it comes to educations, they didn't have much. So they were like, oh, I see a school, I guess this is where she's going. Like, okay, this is over there. mm, mm. Okay, guys. I'm going to have to change the mic already because it's going to run out of battery before I even talk. Okay, guys, I'm going to start with the readings. Thank you so much for the conversation, the topics. It's really fun to talk to you guys. This is why, time passes by so quickly and I'm still talking about personal matters, and let's start with the readings. Okay, I'm going to start with the Chinese actor with Zhang Xincheng. Zhang Xincheng. I think I read for this man when I read for Chinese actors. No, is he okay? And also there's like a woman in the middle. Okay, the Ace of Wands, inspiration. Okay, for him, we start with the Strength card. We have the Three of Swords. We have the Queen of Pentacles in the middle. We have the Five of Wands, and we have the King of Swords. Ace of Wands, inspiration. I love this. Well, yeah, he really needs an inspiration in these moments because, I have this Queen of Pentacles in the middle. So I'm like kind of curious about her, who is she? But I think that he's really, holding on very tight. I don't know if there's like a lot of scandals around this man or around his company or around his matters. But it seems like, things hasn't been easy for him. Maybe he went through something personal and somehow he's trying to give his best, or he's trying to overcome this. This year hasn't been easy for him, emotionally, maybe mentally. Maybe there's like some challenges, around him also, maybe trying to not be so sad about things and just, or disappointed, and just keep working, keep advancing. There's something about him being like, no one wants to see me sad, or, just, being very heartbroken, or just, very low in energy, or even, low, in a spirit, I would say. So there's something about him holding on very tight, to not, having a lot of self-control, and just wanting to keep going. We have the Queen of Pentacles in here. This could be literally a person, a woman that works with him, or someone that is very meaningful to him. But also, probably this is this is something that maybe this woman is very important for him to keep advancing in his career. Could be like a co-star, or someone that is like, we have to continue, or we just have to keep holding on. We have to, be. I think that she's very influential in his life. I wonder who this is. But it seems like everything it's around her. So somehow I'm wondering if she's like involved in also in a kind of issue. This is why maybe he's like somehow waiting for her, or he's like waiting to see what happens with her, because she is in the middle. And as the Queen of Pentacles, I would say that she's like the moneymaker of this. There's also a Five of Wands at the end, and the King of Swords. So there could be like a legal battle, like a lot of arguments, a lot of discussions. So I wonder what is going on with this person, with this woman. But she's in here in the middle, somehow commanding the whole reading. She's like, I don't know if she's the reason why things are not going very well, but there seems to be like in the future, there's going to be a bit of interruption, a bit of conflict about moving on about certain things. Maybe he will have to face certain backlash, or maybe speak up about this that is going on. Even though he tries to not say much, or try to not have an opinion, or to not show how he really feels. I think that there's a lot of drama around him, or there's a lot of challenges. I don't think it's drama. I think it's challenges. It's like different of opinions, or there's like a lot of chaos. If he's working on something, I wonder where he's working. at the moment, because it seems like, it's a field, or it's a place where there's a lot of like aggression, I would say, or just it doesn't feel very safe, or people are just angry all the time. So I can kind of I see that he will, open up, or he will just, he has some request, or he's going to speak up against someone and be like, I cannot work under these connections or these conditions. There's something with the King of Swords that is like, speak up, say something, because this has been going on like almost the entire year for him. And I don't know if it's about money or if it's about influence, but somehow it seemed like others are somehow taking up space in his readings, or being responsible of how he feels so lost and so um, not in order or not in power. The Queen of Swords, the King of Swords, and I say Queen of Swords, and I don't know why. Is he like? Is he like a soft masculine? Like, because I say Queen of Swords, so I'm like, um is he like very feminine? Because I keep saying queen even though I have a king. Um but yeah, a year of a lot of conflicts that somehow is asking him to speak up, very um just um the cards are like, this is your life, speak up, this is your life, defend yourself, or this is your life, like do something about this. um it cannot be that difficult, don't be a witness of this drama, you matter too, or your opinion matters too. So speak up. It doesn't matter if these people feel or they think that they're more important than you. This affects you too. So you have to speak up. You have to say something. You have to react. You cannot be like, somehow holding all this anger without releasing it, or without, telling people that this cannot continue like this. You have to speak up. You have to say something. And the Ace of Wands is inspiration. So even though things are, very confusing at the moment, the Ace of Wands is like, if this is a project that he's working on, is going to be, the outcome is going to be very inspiring, or it's going to be something new, or it's going to be something different and very just with a lot of energy, with a lot of energy. Very good actually for his career. At the end, the Ace of Wands is like, you keep working, because this inspiration is going to come, or the outcome is going to be really good to keep pushing your career. A lot of people middling in, or there's a lot of people on their way. um so I don't know if he has to talk to someone, but it feels like he's not alone. Like it feels like his reading is not his reading. Like there's other people in the middle. I wonder if he's a bit confused also, because there's something about him that I as I was trying to read for him, I feel like I'm running out of breath. Like, like I feel heavy, like I cannot get these words out of my mouth. So I wonder if he has a hard time, expressing himself, or if he gets confused, or if he gets overwhelmed, mentally, when he has to speak up, because it feels like this is it's easier being, advised to him, like, oh, you have to speak up. I think that for him it's not that easy. Maybe I don't see a contract. I don't see him like being tied up to something that he cannot speak his truth. It's just that maybe he's surrounded by a lot of people with a lot of personality, or they have, a very controversial attitude or a very, fiery kind of energy that they take over the situation. So he feels like, okay, there's no space for me to express in this chaos because everyone is shouting or everyone is, having this attitude, this aggressive attitude. So I feel like, I cannot say anything because they are always speaking, in like they are always, or maybe they interrupt him, and he feels like, it's not my moment. Yeah. But probably, with the Ace of Wands, probably there's something about masculinity. This is why when I said Queen of Swords, I was like, is he very soft? Because I don't want to say like he's a feminine, he's a girl. I don't want to say that, but I think that maybe the way he speaks or the way he shows himself, is he too soft? Is he too tender? Because with the Ace of Wands is also very masculine energy. So he's like, the conflicts that you're having, it is going to help you to resolve, conflicts. You have to resolve the conflicts and you have to get tougher. You have to speak up. You have to get louder. Even if you have a lot of people trying to, interrupt you or get in your way, you have to be tougher. You have to be faster than them. You have to beat them. So you have to get much more dominant. These conflicts that he's having, or maybe he has a co-star or someone that they think that they are better than him or they are above him, but he has to, take his position as well. He has to dominate himself. He has to dominate it also. He cannot let the others win, So this process is for him to maybe learn to, be more assertive. Okay, I'm going to continue with Kento Yamazaki. Why is he so... Why Kento always gets these cards that he gives me this very sad boy energy? Sad boy energy. Like, I'm so sad. And it's like, with the money that you have, you're sad. With the reputation, the fame that you have, you're sad. Like, yeah, I did. Yes. On the Japanese, the Japanese actors and actresses. Yes, I did. So these are two that I already read for, but yeah, then there's another ones, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, he is like that actually. When there's actors that you're like, yeah, but when he is on the red carpet or when he is like, working as a model or, working with his image, he looks much more polished or he looks much more professional and he looks different than his characters. In the case of Kento, I think that he's just like his characters, just a sad boy, sad person. We have the Seven of Wands for Kento, the Ace of Pentacles, the Five of Cups in the middle. We have the Strength card, and we have the Ace of Cups. Yeah, he needs love. He needs love, I guess. And we have the Three of Cups, community. And he also needs, a supporting community. Maybe he needs, I wonder if he has like a strong Libra energy in here, Libra placements, because he's like, the cards are like, yeah, him on his own is a lost person, like a lost soul. It feels like he needs of others. He needs of his people, or he needs of someone to lift him up. Maybe he needs a partner. because he feels like I'm so lonely. I'm so lonely. Like I have everything, but I'm so lonely. Like I would be like, snap out of it. Like, my God. Yeah, see, we start with the Seven of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. So there's something about him, like, what is going on with this man and success? Because I think that he's someone that definitely he's an ace, or he's someone that he's very successful at what he does. He makes the money, he makes, he wins, he accumulates, good results. He's really good at his job. But maybe there's a part of him that he's like, I don't want to be famous, or I never intended to be famous, or I don't get along well with fame, or with exposure, or with people. I don't know, maybe he has people following him around, or maybe crazy fans, or maybe, the industry is very harsh, or they demand something out of him that he's like, I'm sort of I have to put serious boundaries. And it seems like he's a bit angry at his own success. He's a bit angry at his own success. There's something about him. I wish I wasn't that famous, or I wish I didn't get that famous, or I wish no one would watch what I do. But actually, everyone does, and everyone talks about how amazing he is. But I think that there's something about him being like, that's not who he is. That's not what I wanted. I never intended to be this huge, or this maybe recognized worldwide. Maybe he's a very shy person, and he's like, I don't like this exposure. I don't like this. I don't feel like this is me. And when people talk about me and my accomplishments, I don't connect. So I can kind of see him sabotage himself a bit, like trying to sabotage his projects, maybe acting with a low energy, but he nails it at the at some point. Yeah, Five of Cups. Definitely he's in a grieving moment, or he's like saying goodbye to something, and he's just very moody. He's very sad, or he's just not in the mood to maybe, recognize his success. I think that he does have it. Maybe he's saying goodbye to, a time in his life. But probably, I think that this is like, maybe he's like working on the season 3 of Alice in Borderland. So yeah, maybe saying goodbye, or finishing this era of his life. Maybe there's a bit of, mixed emotions about this, but he's grieving. He's grieving. There's something about him not being content, not being satisfied, just feeling very misunderstood. I think that he's someone that he feels very misunderstood. Like, you guys don't get me. You see an image of me, or you see something of me, and you think that you know me, but you have no idea of who I am inside. So yeah, maybe, I said it as a very, like, a joke, like, it seems like his energy feel like, oh, I'm so sad. But maybe it's something deeper, or maybe something more serious, that maybe a condition or a state of his mind that he has been dealing with, this very deep sadness of his, that, maybe this is why his energy feels like, I'm not like what you see on the pictures, or I'm not as bright, or I'm not as, successful. Or I think that he's like, what people consider success, I don't consider it success. So maybe his mentality is different. Maybe he has other challenges. Maybe he went through some personal losses that we don't know about. So yeah, for him, this year, it feels very, it feels sad. It feels sad, and I think that he's trying to stay in there, in the feeling of this sadness, and not hiding it, and not denying it. But yeah, then in the near future, we have the Strength and the Ace of Cups. So definitely there's like, after the darkness of these Five of Cups, maybe at the end of the year, there could be a sort of like him regaining a bit of strength, a bit of self-control, a bit of dominion of his character, and being like, I have to start all over. I have to get up and I have to start trusting again. I have to trust that I will get better. I have to trust that I will be better. And there's something about him opening up also to relationships or love or connections. So I think that he will be all right. Definitely, he will be all right. For him, this is not about money. This is not about status. This is about, him recovering the trust, probably. And I think that it's about resilience and he will be ready. He knows when the time is right. So maybe it's getting out of these dark times so he can start over maybe in relationships, so he can bet on love again, maybe. But yeah, the Three of Cups community. So I think that first, instead of him launching himself into a relationship, I think that first he needs to build a community, or he needs to rely more on communities, on a group of friends, a group of colleagues, a group of people, his family, a group of people. Don't get still on the relationship status, because I think that he has a lot of things to fix about himself yet. I don't see that him emotionally I think that he's always looking for love. I think that he definitely craves love and connection. I think that he has a lot of love to give. But also when he's in these dark moments, I think that you're not going to get something out of him that is positive. So I think that he better focuses on the community, on the friends, on even maybe having like a better relationship or connection with the fans even as well, creating a community and starting to talk to the fans. But intimate connections, not yet, because there's he needs to fix some things in there. Mm. The emo card for me. He also has Libra, Mercury, and Venus. So yeah, that's on Libra. Yeah. And Cancer Mars. That's why. That's why I was getting the sad boy kind of energy. That I'm like, I don't want to, be, like criticize this energy, but I kind of agree with Fluffy with what she says in here, that I believe he is the main culprit for his sad boy energy. Honestly, when I read for him, this is why, when I pull the cards, I was like, I would tell him snap out of it. Because I think that, sometimes the things that happens in his connections is because he allows them to happen, or he sets the mood for this to happen. So there's a bit of responsibility. I think that there's something about him, in his energy, not taking responsibility of what he created. And then he goes through these, changes, and he's like, oh my God. And it's like, you created it. It's like you cannot play dumb. I see you. And if you guys go back to the Kento reading that I did, I believe last year, about him and this girl, I believe it's in the, wait, I have to find the live stream, but it was for, I believe it was for romance in 2025. Not 2025, 2024, not romance. Well, it was for famous couples. It was for famous couples in it's set in K-pop, but somehow Kento and his person was in there as well, or I mentioned them, and I was like, he was in total in denial. The girl was the one commanding the reading. The girlfriend, fiance was the one demanding things, and he was the one that, oh well, but I think that we are okay. We can make it work. So yeah, that's why when I see his readings, I'm like, I'm not I'm not moved by your sadness. I'm like, I'm going to tell you like I see it. I think that you should own it, own it. That this is your doing. Okay, I'm going to continue with Heart to Hearts member Jiwoo. Heart to Hearts member Jiwoo. She's a cutie. He's a cutie. She's very young, right? She's a very young energy, right? Because she's very illusionated. She's like, she has the pink glasses on. But I love it for her because actually she's going to be very successful. But there's a bit of denial of, certain things. I got the Eight of Swords. Everything was well until I got the Eight of Swords. Yeah. Does she have also Libra placements? Because the hype I don't want to bash the Libra placements. We love Libra placements in here, but there's this, this duality that, just like I believe Draculaura was the one that mentioned this, when something goes wrong, it's like, no, everything is fine. Well, this girl is giving me this energy. The High Priestess for Jiwoo, Seven of Swords. We have the Seven of Cups in the middle. We have the Sun, and we have the Nine of Cups. And then we have the Eight of Swords that it says self-victimization. So self-victimization it is. Self-victimization it is. In the sense that I think that we start with the High Priestess and the Seven of Swords. So I'm like, she's definitely hiding something under. Maybe she has this image. Is she a leader? Is she the leader of the group? I don't know. Well, because there's something about her being like, there's moments where I don't feel that confidence, and there's moments where I just want to escape, literally. But with the High Priestess, it's like, I will not show it, or I will not. This is why it's giving me very young energy, because she's like, I do have sometimes these fantasies of escaping or running away. Maybe this is because, the training is very, rigid, or there's like a lot of guidelines, there's a lot of things that she has to do, she has to be better, there's a lot of pressure on these people, and it seems like she's very young. So maybe there's a part of her that she's like, yeah, this is my secret. That sometimes, this could be dissociation as well. Now that we were mentioning dissociation today, that sometimes when we are under a lot of pressure, or we are under a lot of, people expect us to be perfect, this could be also, the now that we're talking about Virgo, this could be a part of the Virgo nature. Somehow it's like, there's moments where I just want to escape, but I will not. But this is like a secret fantasy of mine This is like a secret fantasy of mine, is to be able to evade responsibilities, evade this work that I have to do, evade this that I have to live up to. I'm not that perfect. I sometimes I want to be lazy. I don't want to get the job done. I don't want to be someone's role model. Like, I think that she's in this energy of like, there's moments I want to escape reality a bit. But she hides it. She hides it very well. And also it's giving me water sign energy. Does she have like Pisces or something like this? Because the high priestess, the 7 of Cups, is like, she probably fantasizes a lot, or she, visualizes a lot. Um, about a perfect world, about like, okay, things will get better, dreams will come true. She's very hopeful. And I think that, honestly, I see that she's a very happy person where she is. The group that she's part, with the 7 of Cups, is like, at least I have possibilities. At least I can dream. At least I can, I'm still searching for myself, or I'm searching for my identity, or I'm searching for my goals, for my dreams, for my aspirations. She's still, I think that she's still in this process where she's like, I don't have the answers for everything. Honestly, the 7 of Cups is like, I have been presented with offers. I have offers, I have invitations, um I have a lot of resources. Everything feels open for me. Sometimes I get confused. Sometimes I get overwhelmed. Sometimes, I feel like it's a lot for me. But at least I have options. She's very hopeful about the future, maybe about her, about the group. I think that honestly, her personality is not fully developed yet, of course, because it seems like she's very young. So there's something about her, maybe imagining or fantasizing about who she can become, or if she has an idol herself, or if she has like a role model herself. Maybe she's trying to modulate what her role model do, or how they behave. She's like, this is why I'm getting water vibes. Like, is she trying to mold herself after someone? Because it seems very, very like this. But I see a lot of, like, if she's going to do some individual activities, I think that she's going to, have a lot of fun and just being very successful. We have the Sun and the 9 of Cups. So I think that SM did a great job with this girl, or with the group in general, because I don't see her individually. So I'm like, this could be her reflecting also about her role in the group and about the groups. But I can see them having a very successful season. Very fun also. And actually them maybe getting recognition, maybe winning an award, or getting, good opportunities for themselves. A lot of satisfaction for this girl. I'm so happy for her. I'm so happy because, there's something about her just being very appreciative of what she has. And I think that with time, we are going to see her happier, like even more satisfied with herself and her image. I don't feel her insecure. I just think that she still needs experiences, yes. But I think that the experiences to come are amazing. I love this for her. But yeah, with the kind of self-victimization, let's go with the Age of Swords. With the Age of Swords at the end. That yeah, she has this duality. This is why um, maybe with the kind of self-victimization is that there's moments when things go well, they go amazing towards her. And I think that her future is very bright, honestly. But the Age of Swords is good giving me that inside, she tends to, play the victim a bit. Like, oh no, this happened to me. Oh no, why me? Oh no, like her feeling insecure a bit, and the self-victimization sounding a bit in the background, even though she actually does amazing. Maybe she has this, I don't know if maybe fans know about her, or you will discover this in time. that maybe she downplays a bit, her achievements, or she talks a bit like negatively about her achievements. So you're like, but you did amazing. What are you talking about? So the self-victimization is like in the background. It's like from time to time she's going to do amazing, but then she's going to say something that you're going to be like, why are you talking about yourself like this if you did amazing? Like the self-victimization could be, and also the eight of swords is giving me like, this is something that she does. Like, I think that she cannot contain, she cannot control this. But I wonder how, if this is going to affect how the audience sees her, like in the sense of, maybe if she does this too often, maybe the audience will pick it up and be like, oh, there she goes again. There she goes again with the self-victimization. So yeah, I would say she has to work on that, because, on the outside, she looks perfect. And that her future is very bright. It's just that, maybe she has this maybe tendency of wanting to downplay her achievements, and people being like, we don't believe you. You're perfect. What are you talking about? So yeah, maybe she has to not be that much of that attitude, because people will be like, are you serious? Are you pretending right now? What are you doing? If you're perfect, you know. Mm. Ah, she's the leader. Her role model is Karina. Okay. Yes. Mm. Oh. One of their songs I like. I don't know which one. Maybe the first one. I don't know. There's one that I like. Oh, then the other don't know. But there's one that I like, but I don't remember the name. Okay. I'm going to continue with BTS JK. BTS Jungkook, let's see, for his Virgo season, let's see how he's going. Let's see. I like it. He has the King of Pentacles in the middle. I'm like, wow. Yes, King. Yeah. He's feeling so good about himself. But then the duality. Oh, my. His Libra placements always get in the middle. Always get in the middle. Okay. we have Six of Cups for JK. We have the Two of Cups. We have the King of Pentacles in the middle of the reading here, looking at me, very present. Page of Wands, and we have the Seven of Swords. And then we have the Lovers, duality. I know he wants to launch something. I can see it here. He wants to launch something before the year ends. I see it. I see that he wants to, or he wants to talk about it, or he wants people to know. But if I was advising JK, I would be like, JK, 2025 is not the year. It's like, keep it to yourself. Share it when 2026 starts, not now. Because there's infiltration in here. So I'm like, if he spoils it, if he says something earlier, something is going to happen that is going to ruin the flow. It's somehow it's going to spoil it for him. So I would prefer for him to not spill the tea about his methods. I know this is about creation. So he's like, oh, but maybe to some people I could tell them about this. It's early. It's early. It's just that he's so passionate about this that he's like, I kind of want to tell them a bit about this, because it's so cool. And I'm so happy about this. And I know, but this year is not the year. This year is not the year. Where is the High Priestess? Where is the High Priestess that I got for him the other day? He's not following the High Priestess, wisdom that I said when I read for him a couple of months ago. He's not following this, and I don't know, you could do it. He's working on it. Yeah. He's like, I want to share it. Okay. Did I say the cards? Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah. First of all, the Six of Cups and the Two of Cups. He's loving to be back with the group. I think that I said this, and I'm going to say this again. JK feels so happy to be with all the members in the same place, time. His inner child missed this connection. He wanted all of them together. So it's like, this child that, he maybe was separated from one of the parents, and now he has the opportunity to go on a vacation with the two of them. So there's something about him being like this child that is so excited that he has his family back. It feels very, very sweet. Because it feels like this, it feels like for him, it's like his inner child is like, oh, my family is back. For him, it's not just, oh, this is a group. Yeah, we talk every once in a while. I hang out with this member and then I hang out with the other. And it's like, oh my, what the fall? Isn't there something fall? Oh, well. So I think that this is literally like his inner child being happy, being happy that they are together, that they are back together. For him, this is not him, a BTS member. This is him, the man, the man. Yeah, and thanks to seeing and being with them together, we have the King of Pentacles. So he feels very, he feels very supported. He feels very validated. He feels seen. He feels strong. He feels like his confidence is back. Like I don't want to. I think that JK is not the type of person that is like, oh, his confidence went away and now it's back. No, he never lost it. But there's something, like the golden magnet is back. he's back, or he feels so reassured in his front because the group is together, is united. So for him, like I said, he feels like the child of the family that is finally getting all his parents together or his family together, and he feels so like lucky and so abundant that he has them. For him it's important. He feels, he's like, finally, we are all together and we are going to show everyone, how amazing we are because we are back, because we are all together, we are all in the same page. So I wonder if there's something about, I wonder if he's like, this is to somehow show the haters that we are not going to disband, or maybe there's people that they think that, oh, you will never see them together because there's issues. And he's like, no, we are stronger than ever. There's something about him being like, I'm so happy that we are all together. I feel so good about myself because I have my family with me. Definitely, this is why I say about the Libra placements. I think that JK is this because, the group made him. For him, and this I say every time I read for him, his identity, who he is, his energy, his values, his self-love, it's all about the others. It's how the others see me because I am like this. And he gets very competitive also. He's like, now that we're all back, I have to do my best. I want to do my best. I want to, show with pride, that we're back, that, that we are amazing because, he wants to show off a bit, I would say, but it's like, I want to let people know that, we are coming back. And we have the Page of Wands and the Seven of Swords. So, this is, there's something about, yeah, definitely JK is in all to seven. Yes. Mm, mm, yeah. JK is the OT7. Yeah. He's like all of us. All of us. I want us, all of us. And probably he's like the glue that keeps everyone together. With the Page of Wands and the Seven of Swords, I could see him working on something. He's working on something. This is about maybe his solo project. He's like, I want to release this. I want to release this. I cannot, like, for me, I would wait until the next year, the beginning. I see that he is a bit impulsively about this, but the Seven of Swords, it could be like accidentally he leaks it or someone leaks it for him. And you could hear about this while it is being made or it is being arranged. I wouldn't advise this to him. I know that this is going to be amazing and it's going to have his signature and it's going to be about him and he's so passionate about this, but it's not the way. It cannot be that rushed, especially considering he's this. It's like maybe it needs a better preparation. I don't know, but there's an urgency, there's like he's feeling the itch. He's like, it has to be now, it has to be now, it has to be soon, it has to be soon. He's like a puppy, he's like all excited. He's like, well, the Lovers, duality. So I don't know. I think that, definitely he has the love of the people, people love him. We all love him. But the Lovers is giving me, literally when we have duality, the Lovers represents this, even the people that they say that they love you, sometimes they do have this dual reaction towards what you do. So I wouldn't be able to tell you, okay, if he does this, like everyone is going to love it. I would wait. I would wait because maybe there's something about this, if this is a collaboration or if it's, I think it's like a production that he was involved, because I see him very excited about this. But it feels very premature. Like, I'm like, why are you releasing this like this? Like, where is the, I don't know, or maybe someone will leak it for him. I don't know. But yeah, with the lovers, it's like maybe people saying that they love it when actually there's some conflict in the background. What actually, yeah, I love it, but the audience also having this duality about this, about what he does. It's not so much about what he shares. It's more about, why are you doing this collaboration? Like, why are you, and this is not a BTS work. It's with someone else, and maybe the duality comes from, if this is a collaboration, people don't like the other person, so it could be about this, and maybe this of course doesn't affect him because he is a King of Pentacles. He's a star, he's a very stable man in his matters. It's just that him wanting to rush the process or just being too excited. I would be like, why don't you think this better? Like, take your time. No one is rushing you. The fans are waiting, but they can wait a bit longer. Just make sure that it comes out, with the proper revisions. I don't know. But I think that he will do it anyways, because, the page, but again, the Page of Wands is giving me maturity. So I cannot have a King of Pentacles being immature. You are a King of Pentacles. You have to think this better. So I don't know. Yes, maybe. Yeah, it's like, it's giving me, it's giving me like the line of these people that and I think that it could be JK, but also it could be the magnet line. So I wonder if there's something going on with the magnet line that people are like, really? But well, he's happy. So if he's going to release it, he's happy. That's what he wants. That's what he wants, and he's excited, and he's allowed to be excited. So yeah, let's wait to see it, and then and then we can discuss it. But I think that the thing is that he is a man of passion. It's like, when I said when you have the itch that it has to be now, he's like, it has to be now before the year ends. It has to be now. I want it to be now. So I wonder if he will leak it himself. It's just that I think that there's something about JK that, this is when sometimes he gets the High Priestess. I think that JK and Namjoon as well, sometimes when I read for Namjoon, well, for Yoongi, obviously, but they are very intuitive people. They are very intuitive people. So I think that it's great for JK. If JK has the itch and he's like, I have to release it now because I feel like now is the best moment, I think that he should follow his intuition. The thing is this. We have the King of Pentacles in the middle. So the King of Pentacles is legacy. The King of Pentacles is like the golden magnet, the golden person, the golden member is like his legacy. Is like who he represents, who he is, his fame, his status, that how big he is, and how consistent he has been in his career. The King of Pentacles is someone that is like the king of the kings, and he he had been able to hold this standard very high. So for him to drop this just like this, it feels like, this is not something that the King of Pentacles would do. Especially because it sort of messes with this, very stable and, strong power that he holds as the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles always reviews their options and observes and takes his time, and is a bit, is a bit selective, or like, yeah, this I don't like, yeah, no, this is not for me. This doesn't go well with my image. It's about image. It's about reputation. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'm intrigued as well. Okay. I'm going to continue with Red Velvet Joy. Red Velvet Joy. Joy had like a solo, right? Not so long ago. She's so happy about it. She doesn't care that maybe people will judge it in the near future. But she's like, I don't care. Yeah, she's a tough girl. She's like, I've been through this. I'm resilient. I know my career. It's, it's maybe her career, or maybe there's something about people being very judgmental towards her talents in general, because, it seems like this. We start with the Knight of Swords. We have the Wall card. The Page of Pentacles in the middle. Look at her, so tiny, so tiny. She's so humble. She's so humble. She still considers herself like an amateur. She's like, I'm getting better. I'm learning. I'm just a student. I'm learning. This is my poster in life. I'm learning. I'm not perfect. But I'm studying. I'm learning. We have the Nine of Cups and we have the Judgment. So probably they will give her, a certain award, or she will win something because of the solo work, or what she does in general. But there's always comes with the judgment, literally. People judging, I think that people don't always find something to judge about her. It could be her appearance, it could be, I don't know, the MB, like something just very silly. But it seems like they cannot just say, oh, congratulations, Joy, you've done amazing. No, they cannot give it to her. They have to be like, yeah, it was cool, but... And we have the Nine of Wands. It says resilience. So this is what she has. She has resilience. She's like, yeah, I know. They're always tough on me. I know this. They're always tough on me. Like these very rigid, tough parents, that they always give her tough love. It's always like this. And she's like, well, she's a very hardworking person. But also she's so humble. She never considers that even after all these years in the industry and her career, seeing her as the Page of Pentacles in the middle definitely shows you how humble she is, how she doesn't buy, it's sort of like a title, or like maybe people being like, oh, but you did amazing and you have been part of this, as this is amazing. And she's like, yeah, I know, but I still have a lot of things to learn. And I'm always like ready to learn new things. I'm always ready to start over. So yeah, I own it. You know, whatever I created or I came up with, yeah, it's me learning. It's me improving. It's me being better. It's me studying my skills and getting better and maybe trying new things. But yeah, I'm always observant of my work. Always. She never loses the sight of how important it is to be prepared or to study or to perfectionate certain things about her craft. You know, it's not so much, and even, you know, because the Pentacles also represents the body. So there's something, I don't know, she also, you know, had to go on a diet or she had to, you know, go through some kind of physical changes or an appearance, but it's always very well calculated. It's always well calculated. It's just that maybe people, there's something about people just being very much against what she does because they're like, really? You know, after all these years in the industry, you give us this? And she's like, yeah, because this is like a new me, a new era, a new beginning. I can change, I can evolve, I can learn something that I didn't know. So people can never accuse Joy of being lazy, never, because she's always like, you know, reinventing herself. But maybe they are like, you know, at this point, and still a page of pentacles, you know, they want her to, I don't know if it's mature is the right correct term, if they want her to be more mature. And she's like, no, I will forever be a teenager. I will forever be a teenager. I will always be curious. I will always be cute. I will always be hopeful. So for her, age is nothing but a number. And I think that they don't like this of her. I don't know how old she is, but there's something about like, again with this concept. And she's like, yeah, yeah. Because see, we start with the Knight of Swords, the Wall card. You know, it's like maybe people calm down a bit about her, about, you know, being aggressive towards her. But then, you know, with the Wheel of Fortune, is not the Wheel of Fortune, sorry. The Wall card is like, you know, these comments come back and start all over. And they start all over, and it's the same conversation all over. People online going crazy about her, maybe her appearance, what she does, what she doesn't do. And people love to say something just negative towards her. They have a lot of opinions about Joy. And the thing about Joy is that she's so unbothering here. You know, the Page of Pentacles also is so like, she's definitely not a Virgo woman that is stressed. No, this is not an earth placement of someone like the typical Virgo archetype of I'm nervous, I'm like overthinking about like no. No. For Joy it's like I take my time. I take my time, I study, I get ready, I do the work, I show up, I evaluate things. And people just hated how she's so, you know, so mellow, so zen, so simple, you know, and things look so good on her because she's so simple. And this is why she's so resilient, because you cannot knock her down, because she is not opposing you. She's like, yeah, I know that maybe some people will judge me, but I'm happy with the result. I think I did amazing. I'm satisfied. I did amazing. I love myself. I love myself and my learning process. So she's happy. She's happy. And also very resilient. She's like, nothing that you can say is going to shock me. I know that what you guys think. Yes. She's super chill. She's super chill. She's like, you know, we have to be young forever. We cannot be stressing. We cannot be stressing. You just keep your eyes on the goal and you come back as many times as you want. And in your style, you know, you have to be faithful to your style. And my style is this. I contemplate, I study, I do what I have to do, but I don't stress. I don't stress. I know who I am. I give this. And I think that a lot of idols, honestly, are on these processes, especially female idols, on these processes of like, this is what I am. This is my style. This is what I'm giving you. So I hope that you find this satisfying or that you support me. But if you don't, great. There's plenty of other groups out there. Go. Hey, Akira. Oh, happy birthday, Chacha. We didn't know. Happy birthday. Yes, happy birthday. Hey, Sinfu. A good day to be a Virgo. Yes, you are the first Virgo of them all. Yes, you win. Okay, I'm going to continue with Exo Chen. I have the Empress in here. Is he going to be a father again? Please, like, it could be the comeback with EXO. It could be, the Empress is about growth. It's about, abundance. It's about, embracing your gifts. So, but yeah, I see the Empress and I'm like, he bears the gifts. He has plenty of gifts. He's very prosperous. And I think that there's something about Chen's energy that it feels like the better he does. I mean, when his potential flourish, which is all the time, he is lucky and abundant in a lot of aspects of his life. It's like he gives for a lot of aspects of his life, not just, all professional or like just, in a personal life. It's like it's a moment of expansion for his whole life, I would say. So yeah. Okay, we have the Lovers for Chen, the Nine of Cups. We have the Ace of Swords. We have the Seven of Swords, and we have the Empress. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune that says cycles. Yeah. I mean, actually, like, yeah. I think that seeing the Ace of Swords in the middle, all the swords, the lovers, and also the card of cycles, he's still maybe him and other members of EXO, but I see him very opinionated, very sharp in 2025. And probably, the last months of this year is all about him getting into reaching an agreement. I see the law. I see a lot of, him having a strong opinion or strong demands about, certain conditions that he's like, I'm not doing this until you guys give me what I want. I think that, there's no need for me to say that Chen is he's a very intelligent man. Also, he's very cold. I think that he's a sweet guy, but when it comes to business, he's very savage in that sense. He probably knows a lot about business, or he knows a lot about law. So, and he's also a great communicator in this sense. He's like, I'm used to having these instances with these people. I'm used to, listening to what they have to say, and I also respond accordingly to what they say. He's very sharp. He's very cold, I would say. There's something even, like, I would say, a bit manipulative of his part, against these people that he feels like they want to take advantage of his gifts. There's something about him being like, I'm not giving you guys my talents for free. I share my talents with the people that I love. But for you strangers, you are going to have to pay to get me. So, there's a very harsh and also dominant part of Chen being like, I have something to say. Yeah, we are very close to reaching an agreement. I think that they will soon reach an agreement, but I think that he's very dual. With the lovers and the Nine of Cups is like, sometimes it feels like, okay, yeah, maybe this is with him with the same, and he'll be like, okay, yeah, we'll participate. Yeah, okay, I will give you this, or yeah, okay, I will do this. And then, he maybe reads or sees something in a piece of paper or in a document, and he's like, I'm not sure about this that you wrote here. This I don't agree on. And this is why we have the Ace of Swords in the middle. He doesn't miss a detail. He doesn't miss a detail. So this is why, he's even like dangerous for the company, I would say, because also Baekhyun is very intelligent as well. It's just that Baekhyun is busy with other matters, so maybe there's something about him not paying attention or not being in that energy. I think I think for Chen, that Chen feels very mercurial right now, and 2025 is all about that. It's all about paying attention to details, also speaking up his truth. Probably is like, maybe also opening communications with the fans again. The Ace of Swords is like, okay, I command the communication. I will talk more with the fans. I will show up more. I will speak up again. I will not hide my voice. But there's something about him being like, in negotiations, catch me if you can. Because the Seven of Swords and the Empress is like, yeah, I said yes, but he can be a bit elusive. If there's about a contract or there's about an agreement, he can say yes to things and then maybe taking it back. So I think that he is feeling like a bit like dual about certain conditions. So maybe this it can affect a bit productivity, but I think that he will agree on certain things, and maybe then there will be issues with another things. But I can see with the Empress at the end that there could be him being with the EXO members creating this as a group. But I think that there's something about like you have to be they have to get very intelligent with him, because he's going to challenge them all. I think that there's not Chen is not still 100% on the boat again. He's like, I'm going to participate in the next one, but in the other one, we are still in talks about that. So yeah. Also, the Wheel of Fortune cycles. It's like, I think that for him, it's all about cycles. It's all about seasons. So this that he's somehow trying to get into an agreement it's like a cycle. Maybe it's like for this project, but in the next cycle, I don't know if I'm going to say yes. So for Jen, you have, at least the company, they are going to have to see, and accommodate to his rhythms, because it's like, now you're lucky that I say yes, but the next time, I don't know. We'll see. So yeah. Mm. Yeah, he has 2 children. Mm-hmm. There could be one more. There could be one more. I have 2 more. I have GOT7. Is it not? Oh, I didn't pin it. I did put the list of the names in the comment section, I guess. Yeah, everyone is waiting. I think that they're working on this. At least that's what I saw. I'm waiting for this to be confirmed, because I saw it. But I hope that you guys get it, because I saw it. So I hope we get to see it very soon. I hope so. Okay, let's continue with GOT7 Jinyoung. That I think I read for him as well. He's a very anxious man also, maybe about, maybe I don't think it's about the group, maybe it's his individual activities, that he doesn't want to miss a chance. There's something about him being like, yeah, another ones. He's very pushy. Definitely he is like this moon in Aries man, because a lot of ones, a lot of action, it's like I have to act now, because otherwise I don't know if in the future I will get the opportunity. But he seems anxious. I'm like, if things are going well, enjoy your stability, but he's like, no, it's not enough. I'm afraid for the future. Oh my god. Okay. So we start for Jinyoung. We have the 7 of Wands. We have the 4 of Swords. The 4 of Wands in the middle. So see, celebration. Him is going to be very celebrated for his work. But then he fears about the afterwards. He fears about the future. He's like, but what about then? What about later? 5 of Pentacles, and then we have the 3 of Wands, about him moving forward with the next project right away. And then again, we have the 8 of Wands, that is his action. So I wonder why he's so action orientated. I wonder why he's so nervous. So, I mean, I understand it. Because probably it's how the business works. Definitely. Like I see it that this has to do with material gaining. This has to do with the stability. This has to do with him maybe feeling like, I don't know if I will have the support later. So I have to make the most of this right now. It's just that I think that there's something about him not wanting to rest or take a hiatus or a vacation, that it feels like, I'm like, why? Like, why are you so anxious? Like, why? Like, I mean, the cards are like, he's okay, but why do I feel like he's too anxious for action? He's like nervous. He's like, like, I have to do something. And like, calm down, calm down. Life is not a battlefield. Why are you so angry? Why are you so? If you mix this of being impulsive and being a perfectionist, it's not that nice actually. Like, I'm worried about him because I'm like, what is going on with you? Yeah, the Four of Swords, the Seven of Wands is like him being like, he's so against taking a break. Maybe for him it was like, while I was away, maybe he considered the military phase being like a sort of long break or hiatus, and he's like, no, I cannot rest again. I cannot afford this. I have to go back to action right away. So he feels very much like, he feels very competitive. It's like, I don't want to get comfortable, or I don't want to go take a nap and be like, oh, well, if people know about me, people know that I'm famous, people know who I am. And he's like, no, I have to keep advancing. I have to keep working. I have to keep showing up, even when things are doing great, because the Four of Wands is giving me celebration, recognition. I think that he's going to be celebrated. He is celebrated. There's something about people just really loving him, and maybe also him being feeling very social in this part of the year. Maybe this year in general was like Jin Young's opportunity to come out, and being like, yeah, everyone is watching me, or everyone is talking about me, and him feeling very validated and him having fun. It's just that I think that he's addicted to adrenaline. There's something about him not wanting to take a rest. He's like, doesn't want his life to slow down to a place of comfort, because he's like, no, if I get comfortable, that means that, I need to keep hustling, I need to keep producing, I need to keep working, I need to keep, it seems like, there's a lot of need for movement. And with the Five of Pentacles and the Three of Wands in the near future, see, he's like, I'm afraid of not being good enough. Maybe he's somehow, he has his eyes on a project, or there's something about him wanting that project, and he's like, I have to do everything I can to get this project, or to get this project out, if this is his, because he feels a bit like, I don't have enough. If I don't take action, I can lose it to someone else, and I don't want it. I don't want to feel left out. I don't want people to forget about me. I want them to consider me. I want to be part of the project. So, with the Three of Wands is him advancing a bit more and more and more, and ambitioning more and more and more, and doing whatever it takes to keep being chosen or selected. Maybe is this like the actor's way, but I don't think it has to do anything with the group. It's more about him. It's like, I want to be casted, or I want to be involved in this process. It has to be me. It's just that he feels like maybe he lacks in something, and he's like, this is why I have to make the most of this time. If I'm celebrated, or if people are praising me, or if I'm winning awards, or if I'm winning something, or if I'm having fun, I also want to keep, bringing this to a potential, connection that can get me closer to my objective. But yeah, with the Eight of Wands, action. So I think that if he lands a new gig, a new opportunity, a new job, it's going to be an action genre, or it's going to be action orientated, because I wonder if he has to go on a strict diet, or if he has to work on his body, or with his muscles, or with his strengths, because it feels like it's now or never. For him, it's that extremist. So this is why I was like, wow. Yes, he does. Just that this man, and this I said it. Remember when I read for him, I believe it was romance. It was romance for GOT7 members. Was it? Was it for GOT7? Yeah, it was when I read for Shiny and then I read for GOT7. And Jinyoung also gave me this angry vibe. Like, why are you like this? Like slow down. Like, he's addicted to chaos. He's yeah. Okay, I'm going to continue with the last one with Chinese actress Liu Yi Fei. Liu Yi Fei. She's working on something. She's working on. I mean, she has been working on things. It's just that I think that the processes are very slow. But definitely this is something that she maybe is a passionate and personal project of hers, because I see a lot of love and I see her very open to, collaborate, or if she has to wait, she's going to wait. I mean, she's a very sweet person. um yeah, she's very sweet. I think that she doesn't chase perfection. She doesn't chase like numbers or recognition. It's just that maybe she participates in certain projects that they take a while for this to even finish. Even when they start, maybe there's interruptions. So I wonder in what industry she's working on, or under. um yeah, we have the Seven of Pentacles for her. We have the Nine of Wands. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the Three of Pentacles. We have the Eight of Pentacles. So a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work. And then we have the Knight of Wands. That is his adventure. So yeah, I think that this maybe this year she's like, I learned to somehow take it easy with the ace, with the Ace of Cups in the middle. Is like, she's very passionate about maybe being an artist, about her craft. So she's very open to the experience, even if the experience it takes longer than usual, because I do have a lot of pentacles here. So I do see a lot of production or post-production being made, a lot of reviews. Here with the Seven of Pentacles, and then we have the Nine of Wands, a lot of waiting, a lot of like resisting, like, okay, this is not over, let's do this again, let's review this again, let's wait for this because it's not going to arrive on time, we have to wait, or let's not release this because it's not done yet. So a lot of revision, but there's a lot of teamwork. So I think that this is why, in her we have the Ace of Cups in the middle, because for her this is not a year of great advances. I would say it's more about her patiently waiting for things to accommodate, because I think that it's not about her work, it's not about her delivery of the work, it's more about waiting on others, or waiting on the crew, or waiting on the staff. But she's like very loving in this sense. She's very understanding. There's a lot of generosity coming from her. And probably, I don't know, maybe her character, it has to do with this, sweet person, or this very generous person, this very sensitive person. So I wonder if does she have children of her own? Because the Ace of Cups also is giving me motherly vibes. Does she have children? Because I think that she loves to work, but maybe the Ace of Cups is giving me like, maybe she values matters of the heart, or more like she values family, or she values quality time with her people, or if she has children, she values children, or if she's married, she values her marriage or relationship. I think that she's like, I have everything. I have emotional support, and I'm also emotionally available for others. So it's not, even though her work life or her projects, they seem to have, a lot of pauses, like stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. But she doesn't get affected by those. She's like, well, they will finish when the time is right. She's very intelligent. She's very open to also criticism. If there's something that she has to do all over, she will do it. There's a lot of understanding. She's a very kind soul. I like her. I like her a lot, and she's so hardworking. She's so hardworking. But I think that they also have like a great understanding of teamwork, because with the Three of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, see, there's a lot of post production. There's a lot of teamwork. There's a lot of perfection. There's a lot of artistry. People working a lot of hours to get. I don't know. Maybe this is like the creation of a set or a place with the right tools, with the right decorations, outfits, costumes. I don't know. It feels like everything's handmade, very delicate, but it requires a lot of time for this to, be over with. I guess this is not a kind of project that is like, oh yeah, we will record this like this. You stay here, you stand here, and then we do this scene, and then you can go home. No, I think that maybe it had a lot of interruptions initially as well. But yeah, then we have adventure. So I can kind of see it maybe by the end of the year is going to launch finally. And for her, it's going to be like going back to an adventure, or going back to this more active role or more active presence. Her actually, going out there and doing her thing and moving her body and just, appearing and being adventurous also. Yeah, but for now, she's more like zen, like, well, things are like this, so I have to, endure this. Let's wish her the best of luck. She's a cutie. I like her. I like her energy. Very, very, very sweet. Ah, she's the actress of Mulan. Ah, I didn't know that. Uh-huh, yes. Well, she's giving me like she's a mother. Like, does she have children? Ah, ah. Hmm. Okay, guys, I'm going to go because I have to cook. Thank you, thank you. I have to go back in the chat then. I have to rewatch. I was the one not paying attention. um, but yeah, guys. Next Wednesday, I was talking to Fluffy actually about, because I want to do. I know I did a personality tarot reading series this year, and I also did the Venus in the signs also for some people. But I do have a very interesting it's not an oracle nor a tarot, but it's like cards that are about astrology placements. So I think that they would be very interesting to use these cards and to, yeah, display them, talk about this. So if you guys are interested in astrology, and yeah, we can, use some idols as example, of this energy, so we can expand, the conversation about astrology. And I know that there's people that they love astrology, or maybe they want to know about their own. So these cards are actually very illustrative. They are very useful when it comes to showing, a certain image or a scenario of certain placements. And I had them for a very long time, and actually it's been a while since I used them. The other day I was, putting them on display. I was watching them, and I was like, it would be very interesting to go back to astrology or have a live stream about astrology, so we can have a chat about this, so we can talk about different placements, maybe, like I said, mentioning certain idols, so we can, use them as example and just talk about this energy. And I asked specifically Fluffy to be present if she's, available that day. So if she wants to add a certain knowledge that she has, or a perception, or a view about maybe what the cards show, it would be very interesting to also, have her, in this conversation. But yeah, I think that it would be very nice, to talk a bit about astrology, a bit about, some K-pop idols, and it's a really good tool. It's just that, it's not like a tarot, it's not like an oracle deck. I can bring an oracle deck to somehow expand a bit more on, maybe on some traits that we can see in those cards, to see how they manage this, how they use it to their advantage, or if they don't use it. But yeah, it's going to be about astrology. So I hope that you guys can join if you have free time. And if you want to join, you're welcome. Mm. Uh-huh, yes. And discuss it. Yeah, I can bring the tarot as well. Yes. Yes, I can bring the tarot as well, so we can see, instead of, I mean, besides talking about, what it represents, and maybe you, Fluffy, have like a different point of view about it. Like maybe you want to add more information that I don't possess that information, but you know a lot. And also it would be very interesting to have certain people in mind, so we can picture them and be like, oh, so that's how the energy moves, um, and with the tarot we could somehow finish or give it like a shape to finish it and be like, oh, this is how they use it, or this is how they not use it. It would be very fun. It would be very fun. I think that it's a tool that I had available, but I haven't used it that much. And I was looking at it and I was like, it's such a shame that that this deck is. I take pictures of it every once in a while, but I don't put it on display. I don't use it that much because it was from a class that I took about holistic astrology a few years ago. So it doesn't have much use than just to show you the images. But it's very interesting. So yes. Yes, we could have a list of people. Yes. Mm. But yeah, we can initiate, just like we always do. We can initiate like the first part. If maybe, you guys are present, maybe, if I do have it of a certain placement, and if you guys want to, um if you want to talk about your own, I can usually like have them just to match the ones that you have, guys, your personal planets, if you want to share it, your personal planets or your personal astrology. We can start, discussing a bit about that, about your personal placements, and then we can move on to the idols. But I think that it would be interesting, it would be really interesting to, if I create this, and I also want to empathize a lot, if I create this list for you guys to leave the recommendation, I think that it would be nice to have this list of these influential idols in K-pop, and especially the idols that, because the cards that I own, they don't all have like the same combinations of sun and moon, for example. There's different combinations that are available, and there's others that are not. So I think that it would be interesting if we want to use idols as if a mental memory, like an image of like, oh, this energy. We could focus on the most popular idols, the ones that we know that they are a moon in Leo, or the ones that we know that they are a sun in Cancer, for example. Not someone that we are like, yeah, I think that he could be in the cusp of this and this, because sometimes, with certain idols, we don't know. Some people claim, but we don't know. So I think that we should take the idols that have most exposure, also that have been in the industry for a while. So you're like, yeah, I have seen them. Besides the MV and the concerts, you had observed certain things about them, and they're popular, of course. Verified idols, yes. Mm, yes. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I will have to study this. So if you guys, if you have any ideas, if you can leave it in the astrology section of the Discord, I would appreciate it. I will also create a community post for the people if they have their own ideas. But yeah, I will have to study very well if these are verified or not. I don't know if they are verified or not. Maybe you, Fluffy, or if you know a way or a website that we can check those. But it's not so much about like, oh, it has to be verified. It's more about like it has to be a side of the idol, or an idol or an actor. It could be someone that you admire. It could be an idol or an actor that you're like, we had seen them display this kind of energy, or we had seen this, it has to be someone that has been around for a while, or someone has that very strong energy that comes out to play very often. Yes, please. Yes. Yeah. It could be sun and moon. Sun and moon. It could be. But yeah, it could be rising as well, because the card that I shared to you the other day. That card, that is the combination of two signs. It doesn't specify, but it could be. It could be for sun and moon, or it could be sun and rising. Both of them. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, rising is very important. Mm-hmm. We could pick two, or not everyone in the room, but yeah. Yeah, this will be on next Wednesday. Yes. Mm-hmm. Stray Kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has to be people that we have watched, because if we don't know much about them, or if they are very young, there's still like a whole evolution that yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we could do this, like part one because we cannot include everyone. So we could do like a part one to see how this goes. And if people like it, we can do another part two. But just, just start playing with the concepts. So, because I think that for when it comes to, discussions and you guys having your own opinions and also reflecting about your own experiences and sometimes even as your own perceptions about certain idols. And this is about their behavior or their pattern of behavior. It's not like we are claiming to know these idols. We're talking about, certain energies being put on display, certain placements put on display. And we can talk about our own as well. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm. It would be nice maybe also to, if we could save a bit of time, it would be nice if we had, for example, certain idols that they share sun and moon, for example, even though if they can be of the opposite sex, but you have these idols that they have sun and moon. So, to not be repetitive. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to work with. Yes. Mhm. But yeah, I think that it's a nice topic because some people are very interested in astrology and they want to know about their own. So I think that for me, to have these cards and to have the image, the archetype, the image, what is showing, I think that it gives you like a better like memory of like, oh, this is my energy that also works like that, or not. So yeah. Hmm. Yes, please, thank you. But yeah, we have until Wednesday. So yeah, you guys take it easy. Yeah, a lot of idols, Leo, Sun, Cancer, Moon. Yeah. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching and being with me today. I had a lot of fun with our conversations. So yeah, guys, I will see you on Wednesday. Okay. Have a lovely Sunday and enjoy your weekend. See you on Wednesday. Bye.